Gambler's Instincts out for double trouble on 4. Deal or No Deal is this afternoon at 4 after today's Channel 4 Racing.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sandown Park, arguably the finest dual-purpose track in the country. And I'm standing at the bottom of the famous Sandown Hill, one of the steepest in racing, and which time after time throws up the most dramatic and thrilling of finishes.
And that's just what we'll be hoping for in our 2 hurdle races this afternoon, headed by the Grade 1 Anglo-Irish Bank Tallworth Hurdle, so often a pointer to the Cheltenham Festival, and for which Breed's Breeze is favourite. Trained by Paul Nicholls, who's won 3 of the last 5 runnings of the race, and carrying the same colours as the great best mate, who finished second here in 2000.
And who knows, some of those runners in the Tollworth could end up jumping fences like this one, Leslie, the pond fence 3 out at Sandown, which will feature in our 2 chases this afternoon, the first of which is at 2:05, in which Howell Hill defends his unbeaten record over fences. So 4 races here from Sandown this afternoon. None of them look that easy from the punting point of view, and we've also got 2 more from Wincanton, where we can say a very good afternoon to Derek Thompson.
Mike, good afternoon. Yes, we're here in Somerset at Wincanton, which, as you know, is one of those lovely, friendly jumping tracks. They always make you feel very welcome when you come here. Now, Paul Nicholls, the champion trainer who you were talking about there, lives about 20 minutes that way, and he is here today. Not surprisingly, he's the leading trainer here at Wincanton with a tremendous strike rate. He settles the favourites in our 2 races today. And his Caldoon, who runs in the Handicap Chase, could be a winner waiting to happen. He was certainly going very well last time out when he came down 3 out at Cheltenham. Whether he'd have won or not, we'll never know, but he would certainly have been thereabouts. If he gets his act together today, he should win, but Caldoos is Barry's Bismarck today. Well, we've had plenty of rain here in the last 24 hours, nearly 10 millimetres. It's now soft, good to soft in places. Both our races sponsored by High Goss Insurance. 11 go to posts in the Handicap Hurdle at 2:20. 10 will line up in the Handicap Chase at 3:25.
Here at Sandown, Derek, we had 4 millimetres of rain, surprisingly little here last night. What they have done so, though, is change the hurdles going slightly soft, heavy in places. It's good to soft, good in places. However, on the chase track, we start in a few moments' time with a very, very interesting handicap chase over 2 miles. Our feature race follows that. And then we're back over for the Partybets.com handicap hurdle at 3:10, finishing off with our final race at 3:45 over 3 miles, in which Patrick's 19th was announced as a non-runner just a few moments ago.
Well, plenty of signs around the country for the last few days. The John G. O'Neill stable was back in form. He had the first winner today, Castle Crossing at Chepstow, and his Hasty Prince number 6 is the market mover of the day here at Sandown. Now, it was 14 and 12 this morning. Tote Sport only went 9 to 1. They knew this morning, and at the moment on the course is a 7 to 1 chance, halved in price. Hasty Prince with Howell Hill, the 5 to 2 favourite, money for Mastermind from 7 to 2 into 11 to 4. But Hasty Prince on your machine, female.
Well, some layers overnight laid 14 to 1 Hasty Prince, but there was some moves this morning, little nibbles for Hasty Prince as he shortened up to 10, as Max pointed out just now. Is only 7 to 1 on the course, 8 to 1 on the exchanges. However, my mover of the day is Breed's Breeze in the Anglo-Irish Irish Bank Tallworth Hurdle.
What a racy hat the female
Very
has
good,
on.
Matt.
Is it lovely?
Like yours. Mine's minus the green felt pen, though.
Well, let's update you a bit later on with our first 2 races here after this first live race, which is over 2 miles, 25 grand in prize money. Pablo de Charmille sadly doesn't take his chance, but 8 of them do, and running his eye over them in the parade ring. It's a very good afternoon to Jim McGrath.
Mike, thanks very much. You said at the start of the show what an exciting finish you get here at Sandown. And I think our first race coming up, a 2-mile handicap chase sponsored by Partybets, is the type of chase that produces the most exciting finishes. You see them streaming down the railway fences and then fighting the finish out up the hill. This is an interesting and competitive race. Let's look at the runners and riders. They're at the start now. The weights are headed by Howell Hill, who's unbeaten over fences. 5-2 joint favourite. Slight worry about him will be the ground. Kalatagan comes here off the back of a win. He's a big price if you take that at face value. But a word of warning, of his 9 wins, 8 have come left-handed. He's only won once right-handed, and he has run badly at Sandown before. Masterminded is a horse with a big reputation. He got rid of his jockey on his British debut at Exeter the other day. He's got something to prove, but he's open to plenty of improvement. El Vaquero has got something to prove. His last win was in the Scilly Isles here in 2005. You've heard about Hasty Prince. He's off his lowest mark for 14 months, but he has been disappointing. Bleu Superbe is 20-1, yet he lines up here off the back of a win at Ascot. He's not out of it. He could well dictate and get the pace to suit himself. Jericho seems out of form at the minute. There's no blinkers. All Stars definitely well enough treated to run well, but I'm not sure this testing ground or sticky ground suits him ideally.
17 favourites and 39 runnings have won this, and we've got flip-flopping favourites. Masterminded, who touched 7-2 on the course, 130 best price this morning, is now into 5-2, and many bookmakers going 9-4. Howell Hill out to 11-4.
So they're being called in and sent on their way for the free £25 bet Partybets.com handicap chase. 2 miles, and Bleu Superbe it is who struts his stuff in the front end, and Jericho has front runs being held up with the absence of Pablo de Charmel. It's going to allow Bleu Superbe quite a soft time out in front, which might have not been what you've expected. Bleu Superbe by 3 lengths from All Star. El Vaquero races third. Kalatagan red and white from Howell Hill, unbeaten over fences. As they reach the second, which is the ditch this time, Hasty Prince and Jericho, the back markers over it. So, first 2 safely under their belts. The order up the hill is Bleu Superbe in the blue and yellow by about 4 lengths, the 13-year-old from All Star in red and yellow. El Vaquero in the half colours of the Wileys, Howell Hill in the centre, then the familiar Quarto Star colours of Masterminded. Not necessarily the best named horse in training, because when he starts he doesn't always finish. In 6th is Hasty Prince, Kalatagan and Jericho at the back of the field. So Bleu Superbe will lead them towards the highest point in the course, and they'll swing right-handed down towards the fence on the side. Number 3, Bleu Superbe leading by about 6 lengths now from All Star in second. El Vaquero and Howell Hill disputing third place. Masterminded on the outside of Hasty Prince, Kalatagan and Jericho is at the rear of the field. Masterminded, the 9-4 market leader, well backed to displace Howell Hill, the head of the market, as Bleu Superbe reaches the third. She didn't take that well. Hasty Prince wasn't that fluent either, as they now face the railway fences, or the set line of 7 fences in the back straight, culminating in the railway fences that give Sandown its fearsome reputation for accurate jumping. So Bleu Superbe's going to lead them towards the first of them, a plain one by about 2 to 3 lengths from All Star on the inside. Important to get a rhythm early on. Kalatagan was the one that missed out the first of these line of fences. Quickly on to the next. Bleu Superbe leads from All Star. Good jump by Masterminded up on the outside of Howell Hill. Robert Thornton just niggling slightly. El Vaquero 5th from Hasty Prince as they reach an open ditch, which Masterminded wasn't quite so good. Kalatagan and Jericho are the back markers. So the water jump marks the midway of the 7 fences down the back, and Bleu Superbe showing sprightly clear of heels at the moment. This 13-year-old over the water, still by 3 lengths from All Star and Howell Hill. Masterminded on the right with the purple cap, El Vaquero in the halves, Hasty Prince in the hoops on the inside, Jericho and Kalatagan. Railway fences come up next. Bleu Superbe puts himself right, does cost him narrowly from in second Howell Hill. All Star niggled along towards the inner. Masterminded travels well towards the outer and again jumps that well. A mistake by El Vaquero, then Hasty Prince, Kalatagan and Jericho. Masterminded got into the bottom of that, and Jekyll and Hyde at his fences as Bleu Superbe leaves the back straight with a 2-length advantage. Bleu Superbe with Howell Hill in second, All Star third, Masterminded just shaken up for a stride or two in fourth, within a couple of lengths of the lead. And making ground into about 6th place, Jericho and Kalatagan bear down on El Vaquero. Hasty Prince is the back marker, although the field is still pretty tightly grouped on the run towards the pond fence, which is 3 from home. So Blur Superb's taken some passing. Howl Hill and Masterminded both loom there on the right. On the left will be All Star, and this quartet have about 4 lengths in hand over Hasty Prince, who's trying to close. 3 out, Howl Hill and Masterminded took over. Masterminded was away from the fence initially a little faster. Tenacious little Howl Hill on the inside, however, isn't going to let his unbeaten chasing record go without a fight. In third, Blur Superb, Hasty Prince closes. Masterminded much better than Howl Hill at the second last. Robert Thornton preserves the partnership, but that error might have cost him the race. Hasty Prince staying on as the leader, just idles slightly, going towards the final fence. Masterminded runs down the fence. Hasty Prince in second, Howl Hill and All Star third and fourth. It's Masterminded drifting to the right, but still 3 lengths clear from Hasty Prince. All Star back in third, then Howl Hill. Familiar colours, familiar outcome. Masterminded well-backed win for Ruby Walsh and Paul Nicholls. In second place was Hasty Prince. All Star was third. Howl Hill, Blur Superb, Jericho, El Vaquero and Calatagan never showed. So Masterminded, who jumped largely adequately, occasionally some very good leaps, occasionally a little bit cautious. He has, of course, jumped round Ortoy as a young horse. He got rid of his rider early on last time. Well backed late. The 9-4 favourite has landed the spoils for Clive Smith, Ruby Walsh and Paul Nicholls.
Certainly was well back late, this Masterminded. Touched 7-2 on the course. This morning, Victor Chandler went 130, generally 3 and 11-4. Backed in from 7-2 here, returned the top of the head, the 9-4 favourite Masterminded, give Ruby Walsh his second win of the race, along with Paul Nicholls. They won it with St Piran, 7-2 chance 4 years ago. The runner-up, the well-backed Hasty Prince, didn't jump too well early, but McCoy drove it into second place, returned the 7-1 clear 4th favourite. All Star, the price-wise horse, was third at 5-1, distance 3.5 lengths and 4 lengths, and that winner, Masterminded, the 18th favourite of 40 runnings to win it, one way 3 years ago, around the Horn in 95. You go back to the Queen Mother's great horse, Double Star, 6-4 favourite in 1960, and also 6-4 favourite Liconda, 51 years ago, winning it for the second time. The gambled on, Masterminded, landed the touch.
Well, 2 out as they came to 2 out. The main danger to Masterminded disappeared almost literally, because down on his nose, Howl Hill, he jumped pretty well up until then, almost got rid of Robert Thornton, who did extremely well to get back in the plate. And from then on, it's a case of, does Masterminded get the last right, or will Hasty Prince, who's moved into second, be able to get in a challenge on the run-in? And the answers to both questions is yes and no. Masterminded, he's a big horse, this. Richard alluded to a couple of times he got into the bottom of his fences down the far side. Just struck me, and I've only seen him for the first time, he maybe isn't quite as nimble as some of the French horses we've seen over here. He's got a big frame to work round, but it was a decisive victory, and there's more to come from him.
So these are the horses that won't be participating today, a little bit later on in the card. 240, number 9, Harry Ormshire doesn't run, and 345, number 5, Patrick's 19th. Those are absentees later on our card here at Sandown Park.
Well, Ruby, unseated when we saw him in England for the first time, but he's done it all right today.
He has. In fairness to him, like, the French chasers come to England first time, they're not really as adept to jumping over fences as they are their own, and he just took a chance in Exeter and he should have fallen, but he learned from it. I'm sure Paul has a lot of schooling with him since, but he couldn't knock him today.
Well, the boss has put him in the champion chase. Now, that's a big ask, but what do you think?
That is a huge ask. He's only a 5-year-old. This is his first season in England, so whatever he does this year is only going to be a bonus. This horse will be a better horse next year anyway. He's a fine horse.
Obviously going well. What about Breeze and the Tollworth?
Yeah, he ran a cracker here last day on a handicap, back in the novices today. Has a chance, but it looks a very competitive race.
Well done. One on the board.
Cheers, Ezzy. Thanks.
Well, lots of market movers today, but nothing specifically significant, I don't think. It's lighter betting, quite a few fluctuations, though. This 240 Breeze is opening now at 15-8 and 7-4. That's in the 240 in from 9-4. In the 310, Esprit de Corps, almost halved in odds, 11-2 from 10-1 and Esprit de Corps. Itahara Bunny for that Blue Square report, support 20-1 into 11-1. And Tino at the bottom, 5-2 in from 4-1. In the 345, good betting heat this. Eric's Charm, 5-1 from 7. That's Partybets price-wise. Principe Azuro 7-2 from 11-2 value scope in the mirror, and the other price-wise Florida Dream is now an 8-1 chance from 14-1. Well, at Wincanton, the 220 number 5 Royal Lealty is now a 3-1 chance from 5-1 for Nikki Henderson. The female on the exchanges, have there been plenty of negatives?
Well, of course, Matt, there's been lots of negative. I've put up Deep Purple as a negative in this Tallworth Hurdle. Well, other than Breeds Breeze and perhaps Calgary Bay, the remainder of the field are negative. Deep Purple leading that little queue. 3-10 at Sandown, same as you, Mac. Hidara of Len Lungos and number 13 Tino, the David Pipe, unknown horse as such, into around 11-4, 5-2 Tino. Negative at the moment for Mon Mikel and number 12 Friedensborg because of the money for Tino. Their prices have had to edge out. That's what you mean by, is there any drifters? 3.45 Principe Azuro, that's a big positive for me, has been throughout the morning, of course, been put up by that value scope. Wincanton a couple for you, positive with Royalty in the 220 and Calduas, which will shorten up even more after that Paul Nicholls winner here in the 325.
Clive Smith there on the right, he's having a terrific run at the moment, isn't he? And I thought he jumped extremely well there, Mastermind, and I'm sure that will do the horse's confidence the world of good. Now, let's look back on what's happened here before you joined us live at Sandown. We had 2 races. It kicked off with this Partybets.com Anne Boleyn Mares Only Hurdle. Good prize money for this, for a good opportunity for the mares. But with Chumbawamba winning so impressively at Kempton last time out, she went off 5-1 on favourite here. And, well, Mick Fitzgerald didn't really have any great worries throughout the race. Fairly testing ground, though, here on the hurdles track. The boys are saying that it's tiring. It's heavy patches, of course, and Mick was making sure Chumbawamba kept up to her work up the hill, but she won very impressively and maintains her unbeaten record now. 2 out of 2 since coming across from Margaret Mullins' yard in Ireland.
Then we had the Fraser Steel Juvenile Novice Hurdle at 1:30. Run over 2 miles and half a furlong. 6 lined up here, and it was the one having his first run over hurdle, Squadron, winning form on the flat, who was sent off the 6-4 favourite. Guardian of Truth was a 2-1 chance. Seraphim a 9-2, and Richard Hoyles calls them home.
Down towards the final flight of hurdles, and Squadron, ridden out by Robert Thornton on his hurdling debut, has a 2-length lead at the final flight of hurdles. He runs down it, Seraphim lands with more momentum, and all of a sudden the gap's only half a length. Squadron shaken up, trying to regather the momentum. In second is Seraphim, then Guardian of Truth. Squadron beginning to pull out more on the run to the line, and a capable hurdling debut by Squadron, who really only fluffed the last.
The market got it right, and the Alan King Robert Thornton bandwagon continues. First, number 5 Squadron, the 6-4 favourite. Second was number 6 Seraphim at 9-2, and third, number 1 Guardian of Truth, 2-1.
And here at Wincanton, the jockeys coming out for the Hygos Insurance Services Handicap Hurdle. There in the red and white in the background is Nick Schofield, the brilliant young former point-to-point jockey who's now the amateur rider with Paul Nicholls, who's already had Masterminded winning at Sandown, and he's got Necarah here today. Paul, first of all, should we read anything at the fact that you're here and not Sandown?
It was just I wanted to watch some of the horses work this morning, and it's all early start everywhere, so it made more sense to come here.
That sounds good. Now, what about the horse here? He's got a lovely chance, Necarah, but plenty of weight.
Yeah, he won a maiden hurdle at Chepstow quite well, and he got a mark of 135, which is quite stiff, I suppose, but that's why we're using, Nick's £7 claim.
Very good young amateur jockey. Listen, what about later on? Calduas, have you got his jumping sorted?
Yeah, he's a bit frustrating. He jumps well. He's scored nearly every day this week, teaching that, giving the babies and Nolan and that a lead. Jumped very well. He was unlucky at Cheltenham last time. That downhill fence, he just overjumped. He has won here before. If he jumps well, have to go well.
And you've had Mastermind who did the business for you there. You're thinking possibly what, Ryanair possibly for him?
I don't know. Today I just wanted to see him jump round, which he's done.
Yeah.
He's got an entry for the Champion Chase, but that's aiming very high, and he is only a 5-year-old. Something like the Ryanair Chase might well suit him better, but let's just see how it goes between now and then.
And what about Breeds Breeze in the Tollworth today?
As long as the ground's testing, that's the only thing. I mean, he's a point-to-point winner, and he won over 2.5 at Chepstow. Wants every bit of a trip, so I just hope it's really right and really testing. That would help him.
Listen, it's good to have you here. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
At Sandown. News on the Scoop 6 before we move on to our 220 race at Wincanton. Today's total bet is a pretty healthy £382,000 with the best part thereof, with a good win fund of over £278,000. And there are plenty of you still in with 5 legs remaining.
And here at Wincanton, the horses at the start for the High Goss Insurance Services Handicap Hurdle. Ian Gosden, the owner of High Goss, had a winner here as an owner last week, and he's reinvesting the money back at the track. It's soft, good to soft in places. Seems perfect jumping ground. 11 runners, good competitive race. Let's check them out. Number 1 is Necarah, the Paul Nicholls runner. Well, you've heard all about him. Nick Schofield takes the ride here. He was a pointer, third in a Grade 2 hurdle at Sandown, major contender. Number 2 is National Trust, got to be there or thereabouts. He won at Ascot last time out. Paddy Merrigan, the season's leading conditional, back in business, on board. Number 3 is Cockhardy, trained by Peter Bone in deepest Wales, a good second at Aintree over a month ago. Christian Williams takes the ride. Number 4 is Cold Mountain. He's won 2 on fastish ground. It's a bit on the slow side for him, but he would be there with a chance. Wayne Kavanagh on board. Number 5 is one of the horses who's been back. Nicky Henderson, his trainer, does so well at this time of year. 2 winners yesterday. This horse hasn't run for a long time, although did win a celebrity flat race a couple of months ago. Number 6, Surface to Air. Well, he was pulled up last time at 100 to 1. He might need another race to put him right. He's on the way back, Surface to Air. Number 7 is Mossville from the Bob Buckler stable, second here in November. Disappointing at Kempton at the Christmas Racing Festival. Darryl Jacob on board. Number 8 is Lincoln's Inn from the all-conquering Philip Hobbs stable. Back to hurdles and blinkers on for the first time today. He's a 33 to 1 shot. Number 9, Harris Bay, also back over hurdles today. Henrietta Knight trains this. She is here today. Graham Lee's come down from the north to ride. Number 10 is Snake Charmer, a flat winner in Germany. He won at Utoxter last time out. Off a lightweight, I give this a great each-way chance at 11 to 1. And number 11 is Seymour Jock, winner over course and distance in November. Disappointing last time out, but he's ridden by Charlie Studd, which I always think is a great name for a jockey. Being called in. Let's check out how they bet before Lee McKenzie calls them home. Necarah 11 to 4 joint favourite with National Trust. Harris Bay is 6 to 1. Royalty out to 8 to 1 after opening at 7 to 2. That is a big drifter. Cockhardy 70 to 2, 11 to 1. Bar these. So that is the news. 2 3/4 miles. We're ready to race. Let's join our commentator at Wincanton, Lee McKenzie.
And here they come. They're lining up. 11 flights to jump here, starting at the entrance to the back straight. Starter not having that. Back. And coming again, please. Seymour Jock was the one who was languishing around at the back, so he's just going to send them back 10 yards or so, make them come in again. Just under 2 circuits of the course ahead of them. Started waving his flag around furiously, pointing out a few of the naughty boys amongst the jockeys who won't quite come into line. I think there are 1 or 2 naughty boys amongst the horses as well, actually, who won't quite face in the right direction at the moment. So back they go. The 3 hurdles along the back straight, 2 in the home straight, 1 down the side, and they do it almost twice. Here we go again, coming up for the second time. Starter still pointing that flag. Here we go. That's it, they're off and racing, heading away to the first of the 11. They all jumped away okay. Lincoln's Inn is the first one to jump off from National Trust, then Cockhardy, followed by Necarah, settles in 4th place, followed then by Mossville, and the pale jacket of Surface to Air as they come over the first, and that was National Trust down at the first. National Trust has gone at the first fence flight in the back straight. Didn't last any longer than that, a delayed start. But if you were on the joint favourite there, you knew your fate very early on. Cockhardy with the pink jacket and white sleeves has come over the second flight just in front there on the right. Necarah is racing wide of the others, and then followed by the early leader Lincoln's Inn. And then comes Mossville, who's settled in 4th place with the yellow jacket. Buried right on the middle is Cold Mountain with a noseband, followed then by Snake Charmer. Then Surface to Air on the left in that back group is Harris Bay as they come over the next, and then Royal ET as well. Back Seymour Jock is 3rd last, noseband with the red sleeves as they reach the end of the back straight. So a right-handed turn and running down the hill. And it's Necarah who's gone to the front and is setting a decent gallop here, running away as they come down the hill on the first circuit. Necarah out by 4 lengths here. Cockhardy is giving chase, and a 10-leg gap then back to Lincoln's Inn, heads the rest from Mossville. And then Surface to Air and Snake Charmer running in midfield alongside Royal ET. Harris Bay as well back along with Seymour Jock as they come down the slope towards the home straight on this circuit. And this is a pretty fair gallop. Try to get a breather into the horses maybe at some point during the halfway point of the race. But turning in, it's Necarah leading still by 3. Cockhardy running second. and a gap of some 7 or 8 lengths behind those two, the chasing pack, headed by Mossville in the yellow and black hoops. Then Lincoln's Inn, red with a yellow cap. On the left is Surface to Air. It's actually beige with a black disc. Looks almost white with a black disc. Hit that one rather hard too. Surface to Air has to be shaken up coming away from it as they come up to the next one in the straight. Cold Mountain with a noseband, blue and green, is buried and covered up right in the middle alongside Snake Charmer in pale blue with darker blue spots as they came over here. Mossville not great at that one. Seymour Jock is at the back along with Surface to Air, has lost a few places. Harris Bay with a blue cap and the yellow sleeves is moving up a bit near the inside rail. So up past us with a circuit left and approaching the halfway stage, and it's Nakai leading by 4 lengths on the bend. Lincoln's Inn is running second as they go around the corner, followed then by Cock Hardy. They have a hurdle to jump round the side of the course. Behind Cock Hardy then is Royal E.T., followed then by Mossville, who's buried right in the middle. Harris Bay up against the inside, then a length and a half to Snake Charmer alongside Cold Mountain, and Seymour Jock is second last as they come over here, and a length last is Surface to Air. And the riderless National Trust continuing after the others. Having a great scrap with Surface to Air for last place at the moment, but Surface to Air losing touch with the other runners as they turn into the back, and it's Nakai opens up a bit here, leads by 4 from Lincoln's Inn, and Cock Hardy half a length away as they go to the first one in the back. The leading group are all over there, just looking back to see whether Surface to Air clears it. He has, and he's still continuing tailed off. Meanwhile, up front, it's Nakai, who has 4 more to jump, and from a side-on view, it's being closed down now by Cock Hardy. Lincoln's Inn with a yellow cap is getting much closer again, and then the black and yellow half sleeves of Mossville is trying to work into it, followed then by Royal E.T., who's getting a bit outpaced down the back straight. On the left of the picture with a blue cap, Harris Bay still travelling okay, is well in touch with the leading group, running over hurdles here for a change, and going to the end of the back straight where Seymour Jock is losing touch, and Surface to Air looks as if it will be pulling up pretty soon. So over this one where Snake Charmer made a bit of a mistake there when improving into about 4th place, they reach the end of the back straight, and it's Nakai racing slightly wide of the others, comes across on the turn out of the back. Harris Bay, a big improver, up to 2nd, followed by Lincoln's Inn is 3rd, then Cock Hardy chased along. Snake Charmer goes past that one into 4th place on the turn, a length and a half to Mossville. Then Cold Mountain being asked for an effort, they kicked away from Royal E.T., and Seymour Jock easing down is getting well out of touch as they come down the hill for the final time into the final half mile with 2 more to jump. And it's Nakai, whose market rival disappeared very early on at the first hurdle, is still in front here, leads by a length of 3/4 turning in. Harris Bay is being shaken up now second as they swing the corner. Then Snake Charmer, he pulls the stick on that one from Lincoln's Inn as they turn in. Then Mossville is getting outpaced. Cold Mountain with the noseband is getting well back, can't work into it. Nakai kicks again as they come to the second from home. Harris Bay is going to switch outside. Now he's on the right of the picture and still staying on as they come to the second last. Nakai in red and white comes into this with a lead of a couple of lengths. Harris Bay switches over to the left as we see them again. Then Snake Charmer still staying on 3rd. They kicked away from Mossville. Then Cold Mountain, they're clear of Seymour Jock, who's staying on from an impossible position. 1 to go. Nakai's hard driven now. Harris Bay is almost alongside going to the last. Harris Bay, landed level and nearly came down. A terrible mistake. Nakai's got a chance again against the rail. Harris Bay in front by a length and a half, driven away on the run-in, pursued by the loose horse now, and Nakai couldn't quick up, and it's Harris Bay going further and further clear. He's going to be beaten only by the loose horse. Harris Bay won tidily on his return to hurdling, followed by Nakai for 2nd, then Snake Charmer for 3rd. Seymour Jock coming home from miles behind, close for 4th then with Mossville, clear of Cold Mountain just coming in. Then came Cock Hardy, and Lincoln's Inn will complete the course, tailed off last.
Well, let's get the SP. Harris Bay returned 11-2. 2nd, Nakai, the 11-4 joint favourite. 3rd, Snake Charmer, 3rd at 11-1. And that's a double for Graham Lee. He set off home very early this morning. And let's see what happened at the last fight. Coming up to challenge Nakai, who's done him really well. Now comes up, goes for it, and puts down and does everything good. Come out the side door. Great bit of horsemanship, that, from Graham Lee. It must have taken him 4 hours in the car coming down from Yarm near Stockton, but he's come back and won it well. By the way, I talked to Paddy Merrigan while these two were fighting out the finish. He's okay after that fall. He says, I don't know what happened, just threw him out the saddle on National Trust at the first flight. So Graham Lee in double winning form, and Henrietta Knight, the winner. And of course, she's got Calgary Bay coming next in the Tallworth at Sandown.
Back here at Sandown, of course, our next race is the big one. It's the Tallworth Hurdle. And with me is Dennis O'Regan, who rides a good each-way chance here, Moonstruck. A lot of people are giving this a quiet word. Just the one run and a win at Carlisle, so this is a big step up.
Yeah, it is. It's a big step up. But he done it nicely in Carlisle that day, on ground which is similar today. And he flew up the hill that day, you know. But he was the outsider on the day. But, you know, he's there with his each-way chance today, isn't he? It's a good race. And sure, if anything happened, any of the main ones, you know, we're there to take our chance.
I mean, Carlisle, obviously, local track to you, as you said, it's similar ground to today. You must have fancied him.
I tell you, he was the outsider on the day. He was the second string, and he absolutely bolted in. And the form of the race has worked out very well since, you know. The horse I rode that day won since, you know, and so you'd be just hoping that you know, if he pops around. And
so does he just not show much at home?
Well, he hadn't been shown much at home, but you know, the race ran to suit him the last day and the soft ground, and it was a pity if he didn't get more rain, you know what I mean? I would have liked to have more rain, you know, but I'm sure we'll take a chance and see how it goes.
How is it riding out there?
I thought it wasn't real heavy, but you know, it was. I would call it yielding to soft, you know what I mean? I think that's what would have been in my view anyway. That's what it would have been, but you know, see how it goes. And
well, if you're not there, you can't win.
If you're not in, you can't win, isn't that it?
Exactly. Good luck.
Thanks a million.
Okay. See you.
And walking just past us, Paul O'Neill, who rode a winner on Sobers at the 1250 at Chepstow. He rides Chivalry in the 310 here. He certainly arrived on the course, but all the money is for this number 2, Breed's Breeze. Top price 15 to 8 on the course. They're now showing 13 to 8, and money bookmakers going a year old 6 to 4. With 7 to 2, Calgary Bay, Deep Purple, flip-flopping between 5 to 1 and 11 to 2. Extraordinary price Alsada, 10 to 1, has touched 11 on the course. The ground must be the problem for that. And 14, Moonhawk and Quartano, female.
You'd be forgiven for thinking there's only 2 runners in the race as far as the betting's concerned. The exchanges are incredibly short for Breed's Breeze and Calgary Bay. Of course, a little bit bigger than the betting ring still, 7 to 4 and 7 to 2 for Calgary Bay. Everything else much, much bigger and on the drift. Deep Purple, an amazing 11 to 2. And Mac, as you said, Alsada, how on earth can that be 13 to 1 if it likes the going? We're soon going to find out.
So we're going so far on the Scoop 6. After 2 legs, there's 6,197 of you remaining. Total bet 382,000, and the win fund just short of 280,000. Good luck, with plenty of legs still to go.
The cable, Tomo.
And back here at Wincanton, we've got Henrietta Knight here, all smiles, with the jockey Graham Lee. I'm just going to have a quick chat. Henrietta, horses going well. What's the latest on Calgary Bay now?
I have no idea. We're divorced from Sandown.
No, so why do you come here? Do you have the choice?
We've got more runners here. And Terry's the old man, you see, so he only got 2 there. So
with
I
you.
sent him to Sandown.
Now, what do you think of Calgary Bay? You're well quoted as saying this could be something special.
I'll tell you more in an hour.
All right, you're getting excited.
No, I mean, if he finished in the first 4, I'd be delighted, because he's only a young horse, and he's going to be a chaser.
Let's talk about the Cheltenham one, because he came good. He's always been promising. He deserved that.
He did, and he'd given a wonderful ride by the champ.
Yeah.
I gather it's pretty testing at Sandown. I haven't watched the racing.
It is.
We'll just have to see, you know. He's only a young horse.
Yes.
He's not a hurdler.
Yes. And where would you be watching the race from? Because sometimes you're
I won't be watching, because I've got another one in this race.
Oh, good. Well, listen, kick on and do that. It's good to see you back in the winners. And you're going to keep this horse back over hurdles, this one, by the way, or go back over fences?
It's very difficult to find. He likes to go right-handed, and it's difficult to find a chase for him because of his handicap over fences. He's less over hurdles. But he still makes a terrible noise with his wind. And Graham said, my goodness, he'd never heard a noise like it today.
Really?
He's had 3 operations, and he's still... well, you need earplugs if you were beside him.
Really? He's doing the business. Well done.
He's very brave.
That's the news here. Let's go back to Sandown, Kat.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. We're joined by Laura Mongan, the trainer of Alsada. Now, Laura, it's an exciting time. The big question mark about your fellow is the ground, of course. You happy with the conditions out there?
I walked the track this morning and I was surprised. It was better ground than I expected. It's really patchy, but I think we've got to go for it, and it's our excuse. It's the only thing that's going to get him beat, really. But apart from that, he's in great form, and he's done us proud up till now, so hopefully he's got the confidence to go on and do it again.
He did you very proud in the Ladbroke Hurdle behind Jack the Giant, who was the handicap snip that day. I mean, how has he come out of that particular race?
He came out of it so well, which is why we were so tempted to go for the race today. I mean, everything, you know, he came out of that better than he sort of went into that race. So that's what pushed us into wanting to go for today.
And he showed a fantastic attitude, as he always does.
He's a really genuine type. He's keen. He loves to run along in front. Whether he'll be able to do that in here, but we didn't think he'd be able to do it in the Ladbroke, and he did. So hopefully he'll do the same again today and put his best foot forward and try his best. That's all he can do.
You've got the best form, Laura, you know.
We have. I hope so. I just want him to do his best. That's all he can do.
Great. Well, best of luck from us.
Thank
we might see you after the break.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
Welcome back. With me now, a great friend of Channel 4 Racing, and of course the famous colours on there. Where are they playing today?
They're playing Man United at Villa Park at 5:25.
Oh, I'm sorry, divided loyalties. That's my son's team.
My prayers are out.
Now, more importantly, in the meantime, Breed's Breeze, another lovely horse for you.
Yes, it's very promising. It's very exciting to be back at Sandown Park and all these big tracks for me again. You know, I always said it was somebody else's turn, but maybe my turn's gone back again. You know, and so it's going to be a great race, isn't it? A very, very hot race. So. Well, we'll see what happens, eh?
It is a hot race. You've got a favourite's chance, though, because you handle the conditions.
Yes, and the ground is very testing, and he does stay 2.5 miles, Leslie. So I'm hoping that if it does become a test of stamina, then he'll get home, you know. And Ruby said he will try and settle him, and once he's settled in, then he'll go about and try and win the race. So.
Okay. Well, best of luck, even if it's not in the football.
Thanks, Leslie. Yeah, thank you, Leslie. Cheers.
Jim Lewis, a big Aston Villa supporter, of course, hence the colours. And this Tallworth Hurdle, it throws up a whole great list of names. French Holly, the ill-fated, brilliant French Holly, Monsignor, who beat Best Mate, and Noland have all won this Grade 1 race in recent years. So Harry Almasher, a non-starter today, 10 runners then, with a 50 grand prize fund.
So let's spin through them. Alsada, you've heard the worries from Laura Mongan, his trainer, about the going. He's unproven on ground as soft as this, and you have to say that his level of form is so good on fast, you wonder whether he will in fact cope. Breed's Breeze comes here, though, with good course and distance form, under testing conditions. The distance is probably not ideal for him, but you heard also from Paul Nicholls that his stamina should come into play because of the conditions. Calgary Bay, the nicest type in the paddock, great big chasing type, got a brilliant ride from Tony McCoy to win at Cheltenham in December, has earned a step up in class, but does have something to prove in terms of form. Freddie III would have made a winning debut over hurdles, Deep Purple, I beg your pardon, Deep Purple from Evan Williams, who's run up a huge sequence in the early part of the season, but whether he'll cope with the ground, the same as Alsada, remains to be seen. Freddie III would have made a winning start over hurdles on Boxing Day, but for coming to grief at the last, he handles the mud, but this is a big step up in class. If you look at Moonhawk's potential on the flat, you wouldn't have said he'd a prayer of making the start over hurdles that turned out. He absolutely spread-eagled his field at Carlisle, and he too is another horse who's earned a crack at a big prize. Psychomodo is a useful performer, and he's run well so far this season, but this is a tough ask for a horse given his previous form. And Cortano could hardly have been found a harder race to make his debut over hurdles, but Carl Llewellyn explained the reasons early in the week. He thinks the ground and the track will suit this horse, who showed a lot of promise in bumpers. Talenti at one time belonged to the Aidan O'Brien Coolmore axis. He showed a little bit of form on the flat. He won a maiden. He's shown some promise for his connections over hurdles, but not enough to suggest that he'll win this. Sweetheart, on the other hand, maybe a 20-to-1 shot, but she won really well on her debut at Plumpton. This, of course, is a much tougher assignment, but she gets a lot of weight from her rivals, and she could spring a bit of a surprise.
13 favourites and 33 runnings who won it. Breed's Breeds in from 9 to 4 this morning. 6 to 4 Breed's Breeds. Out to 4 to 1 Calgary Bay. 5 and 11 to 2 Deep Purple. And money for the top Alsada at last. 12 to 1 into 8.
Breed's Breeze is the only one being backed on the exchanges. No matter what they put up with the prices, the others, it's hard to tempt people in. Maybe Alsada being back now alongside Breed's Breeze.
So being called in for the Anglo-Irish Bank Tallworth Hurdle, 2 miles, the start at the entrance to the home straight, and quickly into stride is Deep Purple, putting his unbeaten record on the line. Al Sadar, who also likes to wear his heart on his sleeve, is another one that's well to the fore. The giant Freddie the Third galumps along after them in third place from Breed's Breeze in the Lewis stripes. Psychomodo's towards the stand side in company with the green and red colours of Sweetheart. Calgary Bay under a straight with Talenti and Cortano, who's about to take his first hurdle in public, which he handles perfectly okay. So Al Sadar, bustling along, busy sort of horse, likes to get on with things, leads by a length or so from Deep Purple as they approach the second. Freddie the Third in a little tight. Talenti skewed at the flight, but is over to the other side safely. So out in front, Al Sadar at an even pace in the yellow and blue from Deep Purple in the blue with the diamond. They've already established a 5-length advantage over Freddie the Third in third place. Psychomodo, yellow and red on the outside of Breed's Breeze in the stripes. Then Moonhawk in the halved colours on the outside of Calgary Bay. Sweetheart, Talenti, the chessboard colours at the back of Cortano with the yellow sleeve. So Al Sadar is ensuring there is no hiding place here. Will turn at the highest point on the course on this long run towards the third, with the field strung out to the tune of about 15 lengths or so, top to bottom. And Cortano has briefly ridden along, just going round that turn, is in danger of losing touch with the others, just being niggled about 4 to 5 lengths behind the second last horse. So out in front, Al Sadar by a length from Deep Purple, with 5 lengths to Freddie the Third. Psychomodo continues to travel in fourth from Breed's Breeze. Calgary Bay tracks his market rival in sixth place. Moonhawk races next. Talenti involved in the main group as they turn at the far end. Sweetheart, and Cortano continues just to be struggling off the back end, detached by 5 or 6. Al Sadar gets in close to flight number 3. Psychomodo's fallen, impedes Moonhawk, who did pretty well to avoid the skittling legs of the faller as Al Sadar races on towards the fourth. Again, quickly from one side to the other. Stringing out, Calgary Bay just paddled through it, and Cortano is completely tailed off now as they race towards the next flight. Al Sadar continuing to press on from Deep Purple, 7 lengths back to Freddie the Third. Breed's Breeze with proven stamina will be enjoying the fast pace in third place now, Ruby Walsh. Calgary Bay just niggled, then Moonhawk, Sweetheart and Talenti, but still Al Sadar and Deep Purple are pouring it on in front. They're about 10 lengths clear as they take 3 from home. Breed's Breeze takes it in third from Freddie the Third. Calgary Bay towards the outside now begins to try and come into contention as well. But little Al Sadar, he only knows one way of running, and that's to try to break the heart of his rivals. And the diminutive horse leaves the back straight by 3 lengths with Deep Purple pushing along. Breed's Breeze is third, Calgary Bay 4. Freddie the Third, look at the distances opening up between the runners as Al Sadar just tries to gather some momentum off the home bend, pauses for breath with the fearsome Sandown hill approaching. Deep Purple's moved through now into second. Breed's Breeze in third place. Calgary Bay, Deep Purple edging closer to Al Sadar, who is now shaken up. Has this duel between the front two set it up for the big guns sitting in behind. Deep Purple with Breed's Breeze now coming there very strongly. Al Sadar to the credit, battling on the inside. Calgary Bay now beginning to labour in fourth place, and Breed's Breeze has gone to the front from Deep Purple. Al Sadar has got no more to offer. Calgary Bay is back in fourth. Breed's Breeze at the second last comes and takes it 2 clear from Deep Purple. A weary Calgary Bay. Pulled up towards the back of the field is Moonhawk. Breed's Breeze being driven out towards the last. They're very tired horses. Deep Purple in second place. Then back in third is Calgary Bay. This is the last, and Breed's Breeze is over. About 2 to 3 lengths clear. Deep Purple in second place. Breed's Breeze just getting a little lonely out in front. Deep Purple really knuckling down, trying to close, but the front two rather set it up for Breed's Breeze. Proven stamina will win the day. Jim Lewis, Breed's Breeze, Tallworth Hurdle success by 2 lengths. Breed's Breeze beats Deep Purple. Calgary Bay was third. A long gap to Sweetheart. Gallant little Al Sadar hangs on for fifth. In sixth was Talenti. Then behind these, Freddie the Third. Pulled up was Moonhawk. Famous colours on offer today. Clive Smith, Corto Star. Now we've got the best mate colours of Jim Lewis with Breed's Breeze, who has succeeded where, of course, best mate failed several years ago. But one rather feels that race was rather set up for him by the front two, Al Sadar and Deep Purple, who's to credit fought on gallantly in second, but another well-backed winner here, and doubles for Ruby Walsh and Paul Nicholls.
And it was a 7-to-1 double for Paul Nicholls and Ruby Walsh after that winner in the first that masterminded and returned the 6-4 favourite Breeds, touched 9-4 this morning, 15-8 on the course. The money talked so loud for this. The runner-up Deep Purple loses his after 5 wins, loses his record here, the 5-1 third favourite, with Calgary Bay third and sent off at 4-1 Calgary Bay. But that Breeds, the 14th favourite and 34 runnings to win it, the 4th this century after Noland, Lingo, Monsignor, Wishlon won it in 89, and you go back to Le Vermontois, 1966, when it was the Prince Albert Hurdle, wins by a length and 3/4 and 6 lengths, and as I said before, a 7-1 double for Walsh and Nicholls wins it for the 4th time in the last 6 years. They won it last year, both of them, with Silver Burn.
Well, even on better ground than we have here this afternoon, novice races aren't usually run as competitive as this one was, and right from the start, as Richard told you, Al Sadar set a scorching gallop, stalked by Deep Purple, who's done astonishingly well to stick on for second. It set it up to a certain extent for Breeds, but he still had to do it, come up the Sandown hill. You can see now that even though he might have moved alongside easily enough, he had to work hard once in front. It's sticky ground. Calgary Bay, you could see his weaken in between the last 2 hurdles. He's a weak-looking horse. He's a great big chasing type. He'll be better next year. They've had hard races here, the first 3, but they're definitely smart animals.
Well, very familiar scenes here. Smiles all around from Jim Lewis and Ruby Walsh. Ruby, you said it was going to be a tough competitive race, which it was, but couldn't have done it any better.
No, they went a really, really good gallop, which helped this fella to settle because he can't run a big keen. But I guess turning in, I was waiting for Tony coming behind me on Henrietta's horse, but I went on a bit sooner. He's pulled up in front, but he loves the ground and he gets 2 miles really, really well. I suppose on better ground he might want a bit further, but it is what it is, and he's won.
So at Cheltenham, Supreme Novices or Royal and Sun Alliance, Jim?
Ruby will tell us, and Paul, eh?
I think Paul Nicholls will tell us. Leave it up to him.
I think he might be wishing you'd taken the drive up here today, don't you?
Yes. Well, maybe he should have done, really, but there you go.
His job is done when they leave the yard.
Absolutely. So you said you thought it might be somebody else's turn, but here's another one.
Well, isn't that fantastic, Leslie? Wonderful. Hey, listen, I think the Villa might beat Man United, you know.
Oh, be calm. Shut up. No chance. Absolutely no chance. There, the man knows, you see.
That's the jockey. And he knows more than me.
He's gone one better than best mate.
Yeah, oh, fantastic. Hey, yeah, so he has, yeah.
Yeah, you'd forgotten.
Yeah, won a Tallworth Hurdle.
Well done. Enjoy. Well done.
Anglo Irish Bank Tollworth Hurdle. It is Breeze, driven by Ruby Walsh.
Yeah, terrific, isn't it? That Breeze going one better than best mate had done when beaten by Monsignor in 2000. But Paul Nicholls, he's completed a hat-trick in this race now. Nolan 2 years ago, Silverburn 12 months ago, and of course this that until they won it back in 2003 when the race was staged at Wincanton that year. I think Jim pointed out, didn't Deep Purple run so well, considering that he and Al Sadar went at it very hard from the start? To keep on like that was a remarkable performance. There's Dan Skelton, Paul Nicholls' assistant trainer, putting the rug on Breeze, and we'll find out a bit more about the plans perhaps when we return after the break.
Get straight to the point with teletext on Channel 4. For the latest information fast, just press text.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
Welcome back to Sandown Park. We've still got 2 races from here and 1 from Wincanton live for you. But time now just to reflect on the Channel 4 trophy for the jump season. We're just about the halfway point of the core period. Joe Lively, who's had such a splendid season for Colin Tizard, is 2 ahead of Deep Purple. Here comes Stanley and Pigeon Island. Deep Purple obviously ran such a good race there, couldn't quite make it 6, but he's definitely one of the best novices we've seen so far. So we've just seen the winner of the Tallworth Hurdle, and Breeze, Jim Lewis, his owner, is about to receive his trophy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come now to the feature event of the afternoon, the Grade 1 Anglo Irish Bank Tallworth Hurdle, a race that's really been farmed over the last few years by Paul Nicholls, and it has been again so today. We're delighted to welcome up David Murray, who's the Managing Director of Private Banking, accompanied by Mark O'Connell and Victor Swanton to make the presentation to the winning connections of Breeze and Breezy. Would like to welcome up the winning owner, that's Jim Lewis. So well done to Jim, congratulations to Jim.
Here's one for you, Anorax. Now, this is a 13-runner handicap. When last was a handicap like this, a competitive race, the top 6 in the betting are all in double figures. And I would have thought, and Jimbo will confirm this, that the handicapper has not been letting horses down who he should be in the weights. And the favourite is the one at the bottom, that Tino Tino at 9 to 4, £3 out of the handicap, carrying £3 more than the handicapper allotted it. It's then 5 to 1 against Fredensborg, 7 to 1 Esprit de Corps, well back this morning, and 9 European Dream and 10 Montmichel. And the best price, the shortest price of the top 6 is Astarador at 12 to 1 with 14 Trumpet and 25 to 1 My Old Mate Chivalry. Female on the exchanges. Tino been back this morning. Is it with you?
Yeah, just like the Breeze gamble was fuelled and it continued, and money sort of gushed onto Breeze. Such like his Tino. Huge gamble. This is from 130 into now around 9 to 4 on the exchanges. The only other horse being backed, as it were, looking at these exchanges is Esprit de Corps, just under 7 to 1 now. Everything else out on the drift.
2 to 1, Tino, bottle.
Earlier on, that's Ivan Ivanov of Partybets.com, who presented the trophy in our 205 race to Clive Smith there, the owner, and Janet down the right of Masterminded, who looked to get his jumping act together in some style this afternoon. Well done to Clive.
So approaching the halfway stage, or at the halfway stage of the Scoop 6, and 2,539 of you remain. Just a reminder of what you're competing for. The win fund, 278,699. Bonus prize fund, 174,378. Halfway stage, just over 2,000 still alive.
And if you're really impressed with Breeze, he's around about 10 to 1 for either of those novice hurdles at the festival, the Ballymore Properties, all the Supreme Novices, around about 10 to 1. We'll pop off for a short break, more action right around the corner.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
Great to have you back aboard with us here at Sandown Park. Not heaving the betting ring, actually is a bit of a cheat here. I've got this bench here and I'm sitting on this for most of the time, so I apologise for that. But betting now in the Supreme Novices Hurdle at Cheltenham, the opening race at the meeting. Deep Purple, who ran so well earlier, is put in at 16 to 1 by Paddy Power from 25 to 1, and they're going 8 to 1 against that Khyber Kim with 10 to 1 bar. Cork All Star and Muirhead with 16 to 1. What do you think? Also 6 to 1 for Paddy the Plaster at 16 along with Deep Purple.
And you certainly don't want to miss the Cheltenham Festival, and there's no better place to be than at the course for the 4 days. And if you'd like to book tickets in advance, you can do so via the Channel 4 website, which is channel4.com/racing.
Now, we still have 2 live races here from Sandown Park, and of course 1 from Wincanton, but you can also see all of those races and the last at Wincanton by subscribing to Racing UK and satellite channel 432. And then this evening, there's full coverage of the all-weather action that takes place just down the road here from Sandown at Kempton Park. So all Sandown, Wincanton and Kempton races live on Racing UK.
And looking further ahead, next Saturday we've got Warwick, the Totesport.com Classic Chase, Kempton Park, the Lanzarote Handicap Hurdle. Saturday the 19th of January, well, we've got 3 meetings to cover that day: Wincanton, Lingfield and Haydock Park. And then on Saturday the 26th of January we've got Cheltenham and Doncaster, the Leather being Christopher Chase at Cheltenham, which Exotic Dancer, who won it last year, bids for a repeat. And at Doncaster we've got the Skybet Chase.
See anything else?
Now, earlier back here at Wincanton, we had the presentation, and Claire Blameyers, the assistant of Ian Gosden, the big boss of High Goss Insurance Services, presenting the trophy to Harris Bay's one of his owners, Stephen Smith. Good performance by Harris Bay, and an even better one by the jockey, Graham Lee.
Our next race, the 3:10 race. It's the Partybets.com Handicap Hurdle. Always a competitive race this over the years, and not an easy one to win. Lots of horses with decent chances. Prize money's not bad either. 30 grand, and 13 runners face the starter. Anyway, that's a good 10 minutes away. We're just trying to line up an interview with Richard Johnson, who rides Esprit de Corps. One of many in with a chance, and hopefully by the time we return, we'll have his views on the race.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
London. By the mid-18th century, its streets were awash with crime and corruption.
We need order. We need the law.
Something had to be done.
No one will believe this city existed without police.
The Bow Street runners and their first case.
An astonishing new historical drama, City of Vice, starts Monday the 14th of January on 4.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
And welcome back to Sandown, walking into the parade ring with Richard Johnson, rider of Esprit de Corps. Richard, you weren't on him at Huntingdon last time, but he stayed on very well that day.
He did, and I think it's a job to drop back and trip today, but saying that, obviously with these conditions, it'll be very handy if they stay very well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you won on him at Newton Abbot in June, didn't you, on soft ground?
Yeah, and he's come off the flat, and he was a nice horse in the flat, and I think he's probably enjoyed his hurdles, and I think with each run he's probably progressed, so I'm hoping the handicapper is still giving us a few pounds to play with.
Yeah, he was a bit of a character on the flat too. Do you think hurdles has made a man of him?
I think he definitely enjoys it, which sometimes, you know, if they go the right way, I mean, hopefully he hasn't stopped improving.
Okay, well, best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Yeah. So the Partybets.com Handicap Hurdle, new sponsors here today at Sandown, which obviously we're very grateful. It's a total prize money fund of £30,000, and 13 confirmation face the starter here.
Tino, 4-to-1 chance this morning, is now halved in price into bottle 2-to-1. It's been 9-4 here on the course, but some support coming in now for 5 Dream. Sorry, not 5 Dream, that Fredensborg number 12, 9-2 from 5-1. Also support too for Fredensborg is back out to 5-1 now, gone back out 5-1 from 9-2. Esprit de Corps, well supported this morning from 10-1, is now 13-2, with 9-1 against European Dream, 11-1 Estradador, and 12-1 against Montmichel, and 14 Adara. A bit of money for that this morning as well. Female on the exchanges dominated, I suppose, by Tino.
Yeah, dominated by Tino, and a tiny little bit of money queuing up for Esprit de Corps. Once again, like in the previous race, it was a two-horse race once again here. Tino, Esprit de Corps, everything else offered up much bigger than it is on course.
Yeah, a very interesting runner here is the 2-to-1 chance Tino. Person who can tell us about him is David Pipe, and of course he's a recruit from France. Limited opportunities because he's not strictly a novice, is he, from our purposes?
That's right, he won in April, so he's not a novice. Hence, we've had to come in a race like this. Not ideal, only his third race of his life, but he's got no weight. It won't actually be soft enough out there for him. He's got a very high action and would want it softer, but he's fit and well. We've had him since about May now, so you know he should run well.
So you've had plenty of time to get to know him. Were you doing little jigs when you got the handicap mark, or...?
Doing little jigs.
Well, as you said, it's a low mark, and of course difficult for the handicapper to assess.
You haven't seen my dancing, but I think he's got about a fair enough mark. It's obviously difficult for the handicapper. When he finished third in France, first time out, it was to 2 very nice horses in France. You know, we expect him to run well today.
So you'll learn a lot.
You know, he keeps galloping. Might want a bit further than this, but he should run well today.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, quite interesting to hear about the least exposed horse in the handicap, because not only is he difficult for the official handicapper to get a mark on, he's also very difficult for the likes of the punters around here. But I think the market confidence from a stable like that is usually significant, or has been in past years. On paper, it looks a very competitive race. Let's spin through the ones at the top of the weights. Max said that they're too high. Well, I think it's a case that 2 or 3 of them might be too low. Chivalry's a consistent horse. He's 2 good runs in similar races this season, but the probability is they're going to be at least a couple too good for him today. Dr. David absolutely bolted up over the brush hurdles at Haydock last time. He's got up £16 as a result, and there's just a suspicion he enjoyed a soft lead that day. Trompette is a mare making her seasonal reappearance. It's her first run for 10 months. She looks high enough, basically, if you look at her form on average. Even her very best run gives her a bit to do here. Astarador has had a belated return because he had an operation after finishing second in a valuable novice event at Haydock on his final start, but he was progressive last season, and there should be more to come from him. Stumped went up £12 for bolting up last time out at Leicester. Conditions won't bother him. It was soft there too, but the opposition might. Dedda is very consistent, but he's 80 to 1 basically because when he won last time, he was ending a long losing run, and this is a much, much more competitive event. Montmichel, a relatively big price for a horse who's on the upgrade, won 2 of his 4 starts this season, handles plenty of cut, and he's got the scope to make a chaser in future days. Esprit de Corps, you've heard a little bit about him from Richard and Mike. There's no doubt he's got a quirk or two about him, but he's a promising horse, and he won a shade comfortably last time at Huntingdon. European Dream is nailed in the handicap, I think. He's been very consistent, usually runs a good race, and this type should suit him. He likes to pick off horses in the closing stages, but whether he'll pick them all off is debatable. Idara just might find a combination of 2 miles in really testing or sticky ground too much for him. He's a good traveller in his races, but he doesn't find much off the bridle, and this is competitive. 5 Dream is a horse who began life in France. He's been running creditably. He's officially a juvenile. He ran well behind Lemon Silk last time, but not well enough to suggest that he'd come through and take this. Down at the start, Fredensborg, the mount of Tony McCoy. He's definitely got a good chance if he settles early on. He wasn't disgraced at Kempton over the Christmas period, but he'd have done even better if he'd relaxed early on. And back in the paddock, let's have a look at Tino Tino, a strong, lengthy gelding. Had just 2 runs, as David Pipe told us a few minutes ago. Hard to assess, but clearly promising.
Now, these are the eye catchers. Fredensborg in the paddock, he really is a nice type actually, and Jim's point about him settling is crucial. I like the way Chivalry went to post, and Stumped was the other one that was a slight positive. Fair to say Tino Tino has his own way of moving. He's got quite a knee action, he holds his tail a little proud. Esprit de Corps and Tino Tino are positives in the betting ring and on the exchanges. Montmichel the negative in the ring, all of the rest on the exchanges.
It's a bit repetitive looking at these exchanges with Tino Tino. Money just continues to pour in. The complete opposite though with Esprit de Corps. The money for that's dried up and is able to be offered again once again at 8 to 1 Esprit de Corps. As money comes in for Astarador, that's now into 10 to 1, and Fredensborg has been supported. But just even putting those up is a bit immaterial because all the money really and truly is for Tino Tino, Mac.
And they're following Astarador, 12 to 1 into 9 to 1 now. Astarador, Buckle 2 to 1, Tino Tino, been run 3 times. All the favourites have been beaten in this. Holding up against those Fredensborg, 5 to 1 into 9 to 2 with good support for Esprit de Corps at 6 to 1. 9 to 1 touching 10 is European Dream, and it's 12 and 14 to 1 bar those.
Well, again, it's a really interesting race, and the market sort of backs that up. 2 or 3 horses, despite the fact that Tino Tino is really strong, as Max just stressed to you, other horses are still being backed to beat him, and there are several that are unexposed here. Tino Tino, Esprit de Corps, Fredensborg, Montmichel, definitely Astarador, and possibly Dr. David too. Richard's going to call it for us.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. It'll be interesting to see how Tino Tino gets on. As I say, he's not most prepossessing to look at in action going to post, so see how he fares. He's obviously a shortish sort of price. And, of course, keep an eye on Fredensborg in the check colours, the white sleeves, how he settles early on in these conditions Need to save a bit. And European Dream, of course, he finished just one place behind Breed's Breeze in our previous contest. That was franked. Tino back to 9-4, 2-1. Looks as if he's going to take a handy position as they're being called in. Maybe make the most of that postage stamp weight. Fredensburg also looks as if he could be racing close to the pace today, and Fredensburg jumps away. Interesting to see if he drops his head out in front. It's a change in tactics, and he is racing a little keenly. The grey Dr. David is racing alongside and is going through to lead. So Dr. David from Fredensburg. In third is Tino. Pace not too bad in the conditions. Stumped in the yellow colours from Astarador, Daydar and 5 Dream as they reached the first flight of hurdles, at which there was a mistake by Stumped. Bon Michel rousted along Daydar on the inside, Esprit de Corps on the fence, with European Dream in the cheek pieces towards the back of the field in the noseband as the leader, Dr. David and Fredensburg, reached flight number 2, of which Astarador wasn't too fluent, and Chivalry back in the field receives reminders. Chivalry had not really taken that with a great deal of fluency. So it's the grey Dr. David back to big odds, who leads by a couple of lengths. Fredensburg has dropped his head in second, certainly seen him race more keenly in the past. Tino drops onto the back of him in third. Astarador and Stumped are next in the field from Chivalry. Daydar continues to be niggled along with 5 Dream a little wider out, racing at about 8th or 9th place as they reach the highest point of the course. The grey Idara has about 3 or 4 behind. Trompette, Esprit de Corps in the purple colours, and European Dream. They're just preceded by Mont Michel in the black jacket, racing on the fence about 5 from the back. So Dr. David now begins the descent with a lead of about 3 lengths from Fredensburg in second place. Tino racing quite keenly now in third. Astarador's rider just clears his goggles, passed on the outside by the yellow jacket of Stumped. Daydar continues to be bustled up on the fence from Chivalry, 5 Dream and Mont Michel in the black colours as they turn into the back straight. Idara, Trompette in the white, Esprit de Corps under a patient ride, and European Dream. Tino, green sleeves in third place, the 2-1 market leader. Fredensburg just seemed to jinx slightly going into that flood of hurdles, which Idara was a little slower than some. So Dr. David from Fredensburg up on the outside with his ears pricked, approaching the next flight. Tino took it in third place. Idara remains the back marker. So making their way down towards the third of the 4 down the back. And out in front, Dr. David. Fredensburg on the right, about half a length away, took it well. Tino's well placed in third. Back in the field, Daydar continues to be ridden along on the inside, white with the black braces on the inner of Astarador and Mont Michel. 5 Dreams working into it, the green cap. Trompette tries to close. Chivalry ridden along. No move yet from Esprit de Corps in the purple or European Dream in the cheek pieces, as Fredensburg lead them over that. Tino wasn't as good as some there, but is still well placed as they prepare to leave the back straight. So Fredensburg still travelling strongly, as is his wont, on the outside of Dr. David. Tino niggled along for the first time in third place. Then in fourth is Stumped in the yellow. Astarador with the outside of Daydar. Then comes 5 Dream, the green cap. Mont Michel. Esprit de Corps has a coming together with European Dream, and they're caught in a pocket at a crucial stage there. Esprit de Corps was bumped around. Idara comes next as the leaders turn back towards home. So out in front, Dr. David. Fredensburg continues to travel strongly. Tino being ridden towards the inside. 5 Dream continues to travel strongly. The green cap towards the stand side, looking for Esprit de Corps on the extreme left, and European Dream, who's moved through in about 5th or 6th. Mont Michel's another who's coming from the back, but 5 Dreams travelled strongly for the last half mile, moves alongside Fredensburg, seems to have his measure. Mont Michel, however, may yet be a different proposition as they race now down towards the second last. 5 Dream over. Mont Michel 4-footed over it. Trompette a faller back in the field, badly hampers Daydar. European Dream stays on, but a place looks best he can hope for as 5 Dream comes down towards the last with a 2 to 3 length lead, and he's over clear from Mont Michel. European Dream is staying on under pressure, but 5 Dream has 3 lengths in hand, setting off up the hill from European Dream and Mont Michel, who are closing steadily on the run to the line. 5 Dream out in front. European Dream, however, can't peg him back. It's a Ruby Walsh, Paul Nicholls treble, all on the bounce, all on 4. 5 Dream beats European Dream. Back in third was Mont Michel. Fredensburg fourth. Esprit de Corps couldn't see it out. Then Idara, Astarabad Stumped. Dr. David gave a bold sight for a while. Behind these was Daydar. Tino dropped out tamely. Chivalry was never going. Pleased to say that Trompette is on his feet. And Mick Fitzgerald, who's hit the ground twice this afternoon, is also okay, which is really good news, and walking back there. And Saikamoto in our previous contest was okay as well. The horse just being held short of the final flight, so hopefully he is okay when he's examined.
That must be a hammer blow for some betting shops. That 5 Dream for Nichols and Walsh. They complete 137 to 1 treble after Masterminded at 9 to 4 favourite, Breeds at 6 to 4, returns 16 to 1. 8th choice of the punters, that 5 Dream, totally ignored in the market, and the officers did not come in to shore it up. European Dream is returned at 9 to 1. Mont Michel was third, an 11 to 1 chance. And Tino, the 9 to 4 favourite, finished one from last of those that finished. But 5 Dream, how on earth can Nichols and Walsh go off at 16 to 1? But I am talking after time with that, and he wins by a length and 2 lengths.
Well, earlier this year, Ruby Walsh worked with John Frankham and myself, and he said he absolutely loved riding at Sandown Park. And you can see why. A day like this, and a horse that was going to win from the moment he joined issue, going to the second last, pricked his ears. Mont Michel, there's Trompette crashing out. Good to hear that the horse is all right, and likewise the jockey. And the European Dream all came from off the pace. Mont Michel in second was flat out as they turned in. European Dream, as you probably saw, got into a bumping match. But suddenly, as they hit the hill, the picture changes. 5 Dream came back on the bridle. Ruby Walsh right up the stand, the far rail, which is always the best way to be, the stand rail, I should say, and the horse picked up nicely. There's a big improvement for him, and there's probably more still to come.
Not a bad performance by a 4-year-old. Be interesting to see if he enters the Triumph Hurdle betting, having won a handicap like that off a mark of 128. Sandown Park and Wincanton providing us with the action. 4 legs, and I'm afraid that will be a bit of a Scoop 6 buster. There's still, however, 140 of you going forward to the final 2 legs.
Ruby, I'm running out of questions, so have you got any jokes?
Jokes, yeah. How far out it was in front, that's a bit of a joke, all right. I don't know, I just look up at the screen there, 16 to 1. We don't have many 16 to 1 winners.
You don't, but I mean, for a treble today, and again, presumably another Cheltenham-bound horse.
I don't know, I mean, that was obviously a bit of a lesser race than the last couple, but he's done it really well. He's improved no end since the first day I rode him in Cheltenham. He's a different horse today, but he jumped and he travelled, and I guess Paul's horse just fit his fleas, even when you do go too soon on him to keep going, you know.
He's only a 4-year-old. Is the Triumph a possibility?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's good at horses, Celestial Halo, but he's on the right side of the handicapper, so I don't know, maybe he might win another handicap, Friday Winter maybe, or something like that.
Well done. Good day's work.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, another horse that's been brought over from France. In fact, 5 Dream finished behind Tino at Auteuil back in March, and clearly the Pipe horse didn't run his race today for whatever reason, but this horse has improved, as Ruby was saying, and looks like it could be a real interesting contender for the handicap hurdles, maybe other juvenile hurdles coming up throughout the season. Now, Wincanton next.
Good luck.
Let's rejoin Derek. You still down there, Derek?
Yes, I am, and I've just had Paul Nichols standing with me as well. He's a happy bunny, I can tell you. And look at this, his horse is 15 to 8. I mean, I would think Big Mac will be telling us, I think there'll be office money coming for this now, as the Nichols factor just kicks in all around the country. Cal Duas now 15 to 8. Radjammer, I think, is a great each-way bet at 6 to 1. Spring Lover, who's fallen once in 22 jump races. If you're looking also to get round 15 to 2. Paul Nichols on his way to Dubai tomorrow for a week's holiday. He'll be going with a big smile on his face. That's the betting. The 325 at Wincanton is next on 4.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing. Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
Welcome back to Wincanton. If you're still going on the Scoop 6, good luck. This race has 17 fences. We have 10 runners, the High Goss Insurance Services Handicap Chase, and a good first prize. Let's check out the contenders. Number 1 is Armageddon. Now, he's a horse who you remember won the Cathcart at the Cheltenham Festival 3 years ago. He's on the way back. It might do him the world of good today, but he is the class act, 10 to 1. Number 2 is I Hear Thunder, Daryl Jacob, at 28 to 1 shot. He hasn't set the world alight this season. Number 3, Cal Duas. Can he pull off a 4-timer for Paul Nichols? Liam Hurd on board. He's a lovely horse. He's solid, 15 to 8 favourite. Sometimes he just doesn't get his undercarriage down in time. Number 4, Mort Doria, Andrew Thornton, 8-1 shot, 1 win in 22 races, but he's always there or thereabouts. Number 5 is Craven, bit of a monkey, but has ability, Charlie Post, 10-1. Number 6 is Necarah, very interesting French import, owned by Simon Clark, whose late father built up Utoxeter. Tony Dobbin on board, 11-1 shot, could be interesting. Number 7 is Spring Lover. If you want a horse to get round, well, he never falls, he's always thereabouts, and at 15-2 he's good value under young Aidan Coleman. Number 8, Snow Patrol, the third of 3 greys in this. Joe Tizard now rides. He doesn't claim the 7, he lost that a long time ago. He's a 9-1 shot. Number 9 is Squires Lane, ridden by Mark Grant. Andy Turnell trains this, the big outsider at 40s. And the one I think's got a great each way chance is number 10, Rajam, trained by Keith Goldsworthy and ridden by Christian Williams, and he's a good each way price. And there he is, Rajam. There is our Armageddon. I was getting the colours mixed up. There are 3 in the light blue, so watch out for them. Cal Lewis is 15-8 here. He's in the pink and black stripes. Rajam is in the light blue with the black cross of Lorraine. The starter's climbing his roster. He made it all right there, being called in for the 325. Let's join our commentator, Lee Mackenzie.
And coming back out onto the track now, 17 fences ahead of them. Here we go, they're lining up. And they're off and racing away in a tight little bunch there. Craven a little bit slowly into its stride, didn't lose too much ground. And Spring Lover is going to lead them to the first at a medium sort of gallop, nothing special. And Necarah is racing in second place. I Hear Thunder making headway with the white jacket as they come over the first, and they're all over there. All safely over, no serious mistakes, although Rajam just a little bit dodgy at the back, quickly rushes up into midfield as they go to the second. And Spring Lover in blue with the white cap is going to lead them to this one from Necarah, the first of the greys up the inside as they come over here, and they've all cleared that one. A moment, Cal Duas is second last, pink and black stripes just in front of Morderia as they go quickly now to the next one in the back straight. This is the third. Into this, Spring Lover comes over in front from Necarah racing to the left between those two. Craven with the white breast girth, royal blue sleeves. Further out is I Hear Thunder. Armageddon with the sheepskin noseband second from the right. That's Cal Duas on the right, coming over there about 5th or 6th as they jump that one. Closer to the inside, Rajam is racing in midfield. The khaki jacket of Snow Patrol with the green cap well back. The yellow colours of Squires Lane and Morderia in the rear as they come down the hill for the first time. They run down the slope here and they meet this next fence right at the bottom of the hill after they've gathered a bit of momentum. So a little difficulty here with the runners having to put themselves right coming over this one. And over there, Squires Lane a bit clumsy in the rear. Craven took a bit of a look at it in third place as they come off the turn first time round, and on now to fences 6, 7 and 8 all in a line. Spring Lover leading by a length and a half. Armageddon with the noseband up to second just in front of Craven. Necarah is the first of the greys running alongside I Hear Thunder. That's Cal Duas, pink and black stripes on the right as they come to the first in the straight. So right in the middle, the grey with the blinkers is Snow Patrol, the green cap, and over on the left, Rajam, of course, with the white blaze coming over midfield. Squires Lane with the yellow jacket had to heave itself over there. Morderia is sharing last place out towards the right. Second one up the straight. And Morderia just took a bit of a chance there, jumping it second last. But up to the next one here in front of us for the circuit after this. And Spring Lover has now been passed by Necarah, who landed just in front there. By a whisker or so, passing us with the circuit to go. Necarah now goes on by half a length from Spring Lover racing second. Our Armageddon is third, Craven fourth, up against the inside as they prepare to go right-handed. I Hear Thunder close up in the chasing group, and Cal Duas has been wide throughout in the pink and black stripes. Rajam has never left the inside fence and sneaks up there several places going to the water. A length and a half after that group to Snow Patrol, who heads the back bunch then from Squires Lane and Morderia as they come to the water now. Necarah over in front and all safely over the water as they go into the back straight. Coming out of that one, we see them broadside on now, and it's Necarah leading by a length and a quarter into the back. From Spring Lover, then our Armageddon, and Rajam's made headway to tack itself onto that front group there. Craven in amongst the chasing bunch has just gone second coming over here as they jump this one. Another mistake back in the field by Squires Lane. Has made a few jumping errors as they go to the next one. Now Cal Duas, a big improver on the outside, moves up to share second place and bringing I Hear Thunder with it as they go to the next. But Necarah is coming over here in front. I Hear Thunder hit it really hard, went into it sharing second place, came out third. Caldewis goes a clear second, then I Hear Thunder as they go to the next. Craven is being shaken up. Rajam still going okay to the left of the picture with the White Blaze came over there sharing fourth. Spring Lover's getting a bit outpaced. Our Armageddon is losing its place a bit with the sheepskin noseband, getting back with Mordaria. As they go to the next, Snow Patrol has never really been competitive. Is going to come over here about second or third last, and Squires Lane made another jumping mistake last as they turn out of the back straight. That was the final open ditch. 4 more to jump, and Necarah has just pinched a few lengths out of the field here. Comes down the hill for the final time with a lead of 4. Caldewis seems quite happy to take the trail there in second and moving up comfortably, only 3 lengths away now. This tricky fence at the foot of the hill, and it's Necarah got in a little bit tight there. Caldewis came over second as they clear it on the home turn. Rajam has moved into third, a further 8 lengths back. Then Mordaria is staying on from well back from I Hear Thunder, and they've gone a long way clear of Snow Patrol and the rest as they swing the final corner. 3 more to jump, and it's Necarah the one to catch as they turn for home. They've got 3 more to go. Caldewis is trying to give chase, but Necarah pinched quite a few lengths out of him off the home turn and is now 7 or 8 lengths away. Coming to the third last. Necarah measured it perfectly. Caldewis comes in to jump it just second, but making really hard work of it now. Then Rajam is staying on a bit as they come down to the second from home. 2 more fences left to go, and it's Necarah in front. The battles for second place, Rajam and Caldewis, and then Mordaria is staying on from behind. 1 more to go, but you can't take liberties with these Wincanton fences. But Necarah took no liberties at all, soared over beautifully. The scrap for second place. Caldewis is still just holding that position on the run to the line. Necarah with a lovely round of jumping is coming home, easing up to win comfortably and will surely win again. Caldewis got second, Rajam for third, followed by Mordaria was staying on, might be tight third. Then I Hear Thunder, and everything else has pulled up.
What a lovely performance this by this grey, number 6 Necarah. I told you before the race, watch out for him. He could be interesting. Well, he is very interesting. Why? Because he's spread-eagled a competitive field in style on his first race in Britain. Necarah, the French import, 12-1. Caldewis, the 15-8 favourite, second. Rajam each way in third at 6-1. It's a double for Tony Dobbin. It's a nice win for Tom George, and he carries the colours of Simon Clark, son of the late Sir Stanley Clark, who of course built up Northern Racing Group and the Utoxeter racetrack, and well, it's been a steering job, and he did it all the way. Let's check it from the fourth last, because he did it very well indeed. Just look at this. Caldewis now chasing in second. He got a little bit close to it, but just didn't stop him at all. Long gap then to the third horse. That was Rajam. Third last, well, it's a question of just sitting there and doing the business. Pops over the third last. He's got him well stuffed here, and now it's just a question of just sitting tight, popping the last 2, and this horse can go on and on. He's won 3 of his last 5 in France, so we know he's decent. We didn't know really how good he was, but 10-13 in a nice competitive race. Obviously he's got him with a chance. The handicap will no doubt put him up for this, but this could be a Cheltenham Festival horse in the making. He's popped over these big fences for fun. Tony Dobbin looking round. He's nearly past the line before the others have got to it. OK, it might not have been the greatest race in the world, but it was competitive, and Necarah is a horse to follow.
Initial market moves coming in here at Sandown for Cheltenham, and that Breeds is put in now at 14-1 by Paddy Power and by Stan James for the Ballymore Properties Novices Hurdle over 2 mile 5 furlongs. That, of course, the extra trip will help that Breeds. Souffleur's the other 14-1 joint favourite. Interestingly enough, this Masterminded is put in at 33-1. That's for the Ryanair Chase by William Hill, and for the JCB Triumph Hurdle, well, 5 Dream. We've just spoken to Paul Nicholls, who says it's likely to go for the Sunderland's Imperial Cup here at Sandown on the Saturday before Cheltenham. It would only go for the JCB if it was very heavy at Cheltenham, and is put in at 16-1. And the other horse that won the 4-year-old in the 130, that Squadron, first time out, is 25-1 to emulate Pundit of 1958. Won this race at Sandown and the Triumph Hurdle at Hurst Park.
Well, I'm with now the owner of Necarah, Simon Clark, who's waiting to greet you, and that was a super performance.
Fantastic race. We're delighted. Our first ever winner.
Is it?
And we're over the moon.
Well, your dad did very well with all those great horses and all that, so you're following in his footsteps.
So, well, we're delighted.
How did you get Necarah?
Well, through Tom George. He found it for us.
Yeah.
So he said, I think it's a nice horse. We should have a go with him.
Well,
That's what we did.
Tell you what,
So,
he's come all the way from France.
Come all the way from France, came over a month ago.
Yeah.
Settled down at Tom's, put a bit of weight on.
Yeah.
And come out first time and run a lovely race.
Well, he's coming in now, and he's done it very, very well indeed. I'm just going to have a quick chat with Tom. Let's, Tom, if I can have a quick word before Tony gets up. A lovely horse, this.
Yeah,
Any
absolutely.
thoughts about him now?
No, well, I think we're obviously delighted to have him, and fantastic for Simon.
Yeah.
To have a lovely horse, for the future.
It was absolutely superb, and a double for Tony Dobbin, who's now talking to Simon Clark. I'm just going to check. Tony, can I just have a quick... That looked impressive from down here.
Yeah, he's really smart, Derek. You know, Tom obviously had him very fit and very well, but every time when he got over one, I'll just take that with me and I'll give it back to you. When he got over one jump, he was looking for the next. You know what I mean? He jumped brilliant, and he gave himself loads of breathers in between. You know, he felt quite a smart horse. You know, he loved that stuff, man.
Say no more. Well done, Dobbs. That's the news here at Wincanton.
Well, back here at Sandown, we're joined by David England, who rides Florida Dream, bottom weight in our last race here. David, this is an interesting horse because the last couple of times he's running the cross-country races at Cheltenham, he's been a bit unlucky.
He has. The first time I rode in it, it was my fault. I went the wrong way. The second time, I wouldn't say really unlucky. He's ran a blinder in it, really, to be fair.
Yeah.
It seemed to rejuvenated him. Hoping for a big run today. He's very well handicapped in this race, so fingers crossed.
Were you really surprised at how he got back into contention, you know, on that first occasion when he got taken out?
He was. Well, he runs very well fresh, so that was the first. I think that was the first run of the season for him. So, as I say, I couldn't believe how well he ran either. So.
And this ground today should be fine, shouldn't it?
He'll love it. He'll love the ground. Not a bother with that.
OK, well, best of luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And our last race here at Sandown, the Partybets.com Handicap Chase, and they're putting in this Principe Azuro. Principe Azuro, the 4-1 favourite, well back this morning from 11-2. This is Value Scope for Dave Mitchell in the Daily Mirror. It's then 5-1 Eric's Charm, one of the Price-Wise horses, and 8-1 at the bottom Florida Dream. We've just been hearing about the chance of Florida Dream. They put in 8-1 here on the course. It's then 8-1 also Aztec Warrior at 8 with 13-2 from 7-1 limited edition, and it's then 12-1 bar with 15-2 Crystal Dane. Principe Azuro favourite, and is tipped on the race card, by the way, by the female. She gives race card tips. Come to Sandown, find out what the female tips. She goes for Principe Azuro.
Yeah, it certainly was an eye-catching run behind over the creek at Cheltenham, running on fourth, and puts it well in here, Principe Azuro. I'm a Drifter limited edition. That's drifted right out to around 8-1. So too Chief Yeoman, a big negative. My other positive, along with Principe Azuro, is number 1 Crystal Dane. That's moving in now from around 8.5-1 to 7.5-1. Crystal Dane, and maybe Alan King can have his second ever chase winner here at Sandown.
Well, if you've done your money here at Sandown, you don't have to wait too long to go and maybe do some more tonight at Kempton. The floodlights are already on. They get underway at 6:27 races. You can see just a couple of miles away, the lights burning into the increasingly dark evening sky. Scoop 6, how are you getting on picking through the minefield? 6 tickets remain after 5 legs. 1 on Crystal Dane, 4 on Principe Azuro, and 1 on the unnamed favourite, which could yet be close, but at the moment that would also go the way of Principe Azuro. Good luck to the 6 of you that are left as we reach the final leg of this week's Scoop 6.
With me, Carl Llewellyn, trainer of Limited Edition, just been giving Paul Maloney the instructions, former jockey to jockey. We've not seen the horse out since he fell at the festival when he was going really well.
Yeah, travelling well at the top of the hill, long way to go, but he was going as well as anything. Long time since he ran, sticky ground. I think you know, if he gets beat, he's as well as I can get him. So if he gets beat, it's because he isn't good enough.
Handicapper wasn't that kind to you last year.
No, I mean, it was a mess of a race. The second race he went at Kempton was a complete mess. They were fusing and falling at the last. And he was a very lucky winner. So I think he was very harsh on him. So I hope he's right, but I doubt it this time.
And what were your instructions to the jockey?
Oh, none of them listened to me, so I don't say anything.
Nothing new there, then?
No change.
Good luck.
Cheers.
A little early, we had the trophy presentation. James Barnes of Partybets.com presenting the trophy 5 Dream Success in the Handicap Hurdle to one of the owners there, Adrian Doyle. Well done. Now then, runners leaving the parade ring on their way down to the start for our final race of the afternoon. We'll be right back after the break.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing. presented by Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.
This week, Channel 4 is in Adelboden, Switzerland, on one of the toughest GS tracks of the Tour. Will American Ted Ligety be able to maintain his standing lead in the first GS of the new year? Join me, Nick Fellows, and special guest, British team head coach Mark Tilston, here Sunday morning, 7:55 on Channel 4.
They tell me that the snow out in the Alps at the moment is absolutely fantastic, and well, you'll see more of that tomorrow, obviously. Now, our final race is here upon us, the Partybets.com Handicap Chase. Hasn't the afternoon gone quickly today? £25,000 in prize money, 22 formidable fences here. A couple of changes to tell you about. Patrick's 19th was withdrawn earlier on, and Tom Scudamore replaces Mick Fitzgerald on Aztec Warrior. We understand that Mick is OK, but obviously a bit shaken up, particularly following that fall from Trompette in the Handicap Hurdle.
Well, let's look at the horses, starting in race card order with Crystal Danae. Is a horse many of you will know. He's got lots of ability. He is a bit infuriating. He did win last time out. Whether he'll repeat the form, though, is debatable. Here is his victim from last time, Eric's Charm, who improved markedly for his reappearance. He's run well at this course before, and he'll probably make a lot of the running. Chief Yeoman is tackling 3 miles. Whether he'll stay is debatable. Whether he'll jump round is another matter. In short, there are others with better chances. And this could be one of them. He is making his seasonal reappearance limited edition, but his form figures last year don't tell the whole story. 2 wins and going really well at Cheltenham when he fell 4 out. Carl Llewellyn says he's as fit as he can be. Aztec Warrior, 3rd and then 5th, but in 2 competitive races. The stable are going well. He's still a young horse, and there should still be more to come from him. Plenty of people fancy number 7, Principe Azuro. A win and a 4th in a competitive event at Cheltenham. The only negative, you could say, is that Henry Daly's runners in recent weeks haven't been that consistent. Brooklyn Breeze is a horse who's never quite fulfilled his potential. He's a strong traveller, he's got loads of ability, but he has had a problem or two, and sometimes he doesn't finish his races as you think he might. Backbeat, Howard Johnson's had a lot of problems with him since he joined the stables, and he's on record as saying this morning in the Racing Post, if he doesn't show something, he'll go hunter chasing. Brody Miller is a terrific performer at his best, with a decent record in several big handicaps, but he hasn't shown his form this season, and he may yet need this. All Right Now My Lad was disappointing on his reappearance and indeed on his final start last season, but he did shape for much of last season as though he's going to make a useful chaser, and there's still time for him to do that. A Florida Dream, again, well fancied. He ran well in a cross-country race at Cheltenham last time, but on park fences he can sometimes be a bit careless, and he wouldn't carry my money.
So these are the eye catchers with the runners down at the start. Crystal Danae from the paddock. Unfortunately, don't pass me on the way to the start here, so it's a bit difficult to give a positive. Betting ring, Principe Azuro and Florida Dream, and on the exchanges, limited edition twice a negative, along with Chief Yeoman. For that punter that's on the favourite, it's going to be close between Principe Azuro and Eric's Charm. Not so much between them now in the ring.
Money for the bottom 2, All Right Now My Lad, 10-1 from 20 this morning, 30-2 from 14 this morning, Florida Dream. Principe Azuro is a 4-1 favourite with 9-2 against Eric's Charm, and limited edition is coming in to 6-1.
Joint favourites on Betfair at the moment, Principe Azuro and Eric's Charm. Money though, as Max said, All Right Now My Lad and Florida Dream.
And the 2 market leaders likely to be at different ends of the field early on. Eric's Charm likes to race forward, and he, along with Brody Miller and also Backbeat, lead them towards the first. By contrast, Principe Azuro right at the back of the field in the green colours as they leave the ground for the first time. Principe Azuro just brushed through the fence. He, along with All Right Now My Lad, is towards the rear. So they turn into these fences in the back straight. Eric's Charm leading by a couple of lengths from Brody Miller, Backbeat, and in 4th place is Florida Dream as they make the turn. Limited edition towards the inside with Brooklyn Breeze, Crystal Danae and Chief Yeoman as they take the first down the back. Out of the wider is Aztec Warrior, the back 2, All Right Now My Lad, and last of all is Principe Azuro, but that is the way he tends to be ridden, as the white face of Florida Dream was a little awkward, and Principe Azuro did just brush through the top of that fence. That's 2 he hasn't been entirely fluent at. See how he takes that. He rather skies it, gets to the other side safely, but these fences come thick and fast, and those are small amount of ground loss can mount up during the course of a 3-mile contest. Eric's Charm, by contrast, is Out in front and jumping well to this point over the water from Dunbrody Miller and Backbeat. Once again, the pace has been reasonable, which has been a feature of the racing here this afternoon, and Eric's Charms extending his advantage to about 5 lengths as they approach the railway fences for the first time. Eric's Charm over from Dunbrody Miller and Backbeat. Brooklyn Breeze on the outside of Florida Dream. Towards the inner limited edition in the yellow sleeves from Crystal Danny in the yellow jacket as they reach the middle one of these 3. Limited edition just brushing through the inside of the fence. Principe Azuro remains at the back of the field with Chief Yeoman, who hasn't fenced too well down the back and has lost his position. Chief Yeoman just preceded by All Right Now, My Lad. They are all still standing, however, with 8 of the 22 fences under their belt. Eric's Charm leads by a couple of lengths from Backbeat on the inside, who's moved through into second, past Dunbrody Miller, as the leaders just begin to pack up. In fourth is Florida Dream, green colours, white face, from Brooklyn Breeze in the orange jacket, or orange cap, beige jacket on the outside. Crystal Danny on the outer of limited edition. Then comes Aztec Warrior. Towards the inside, All Right Now, My Lad, with Chief Yeoman, who, with no fences to jump, has closed up again slightly, and Principe Azuro still towards the back of the field as they reach the pond fence. Once again, they're all over safely. Eric's Charm got into a nice rhythm out in front, just lolloping along. Has seen strides at most of his fences. There at the back of the field is Principe Azuro. Hands of Richard Johnson. There'd be 10 lengths between the front 2 in the market as Eric's Charm, first time, just got a little close there, and for the first time in the last mile is headed as Backbeat out-jumped him and took it up. So it's Backbeat in the centre as they approach the fence in front of the stand, which this time is an open ditch. Backbeat from Dunbrody Miller and Eric's Charm. Once again, they're all over. Again, Principe Azuro at the rear of the field. And Chief Yeoman, he's the one that's been most off the bridle in the green colours towards the rear. But Backbeat took over a couple of fences ago and leads by a couple of lengths as they make their way up past us. So Backbeat in the beige and black colours of the Wileys leads Eric's Charm, who's closing again. Then comes Florida Dream and Dunbrody Miller. Limited edition's always been towards the inside, racing in 5th place with Crystal Danny and Brooklyn Breeze. All Right Now, My Lad, ahead of Aztec Warrior. And still Chief Yeoman, and no move yet from Principe Azuro as they climb the hill, and they'll swing right-handed. Jim, to halfway, Eric's Charm got into a good rhythm. As soon as I said that, he missed one out. Principe Azuro just brushed through a couple, but that is the way he tends to race, comes from the back.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know him, you might be thinking, well, he can't win, but he does generally do what he's doing today. A couple of them in trouble, though. Aztec Warrior, and as you mentioned a couple of times, Chief Yeoman, he needs to brush his jumping up.
So Backbeat leads over this fence down the side of the course, which they're all over safely. And out in front, Backbeat by about 2 to 3 lengths. He's travelling well from Eric's Charm and Dunbrody Miller, who dispute second place. Crystal Danny limited edition track in 4th place, Florida Dream at this point. Rather awkward round the turn there was Aztec Warrior. As Jim mentioned, just begun to lose ground. Principe Azuro is at the rear of the field. So Backbeat, the complete outside of the field at 28 to 1. Wouldn't imagine he's trading like that at the moment, as he continues to fence fluently down the back from Eric's Charm. The whole field, however, is still covered by about 10 to 12 lengths. Backbeat pressing on towards the open ditch, reaches for it. Eric's Charm over in second. In 3rd place, Crystal Danny begins to improve. Yellow colours on the outside. Towards the inside, Eric's Charm still there on the premises. Dunbrody Miller's being ridden along with Brooklyn Breeze. Principe Azuro is just beginning to try and work into the race now as they take the water jump. He's still towards the rear, and he is travelling better now than a few around him, and they include Aztec Warrior and certainly Dunbrody Miller, who's receiving strong reminders. So racing then towards the railway fences. Backbeat with Eric's Charm coming back again to have another crack at the leader with Crystal Danny. Over in 4th was Florida Dream from Limited Edition, who's always travelled comfortably. Then Principe Azuro on the inside of Dunbrody Miller, just working into the race. All Right Now, My Lad's begun to struggle. Brooklyn Breeze appears beaten as Backbeat, just searching for a stride, leaves the back and continues to travel well, Backbeat. Since taking over just about a circuit or so ago, he strode on with purpose, and he leads by about 5 to 6 lengths and available around about 2 to 1 in running from Eric's Charm in second place. Crystal Danny racing on the outside. Principe Azuro has moved through into 5th place, but it's all a little laboured at this point as they now make the turn back towards home. Chief Yeoman, another one who was scrubbed along, has made ground. All of a sudden, Limited Edition begins to fall in a hole. So racing towards the pond fence. Backbeat now being sternly pressed by the white face of Florida Dream in the green colours and Crystal Danny. Principe Azuro with Eric's Charm and Chief Yeoman moment, these 6 beginning to pull clear. Backbeat led over the pond fence, still with an advantage of a couple of lengths and still travelling well. Principe Azuro and Chief Yeoman now begin to forge through from the back of the field to come and chase the leader, but Backbeat continues to gallop on, and another good leap at the second last. Florida Dream down on his nose, Principe Azuro ridden along. Then comes Eric's Charm and Chief Yeoman. The outside of the field has some better fancied rivals at full stretch, and Backbeat comes towards the last and he sails over. Eric's Charm in second place, Principe Azuro is back in third. Many a race has changed up the Sandown hill. This isn't going to be one of them, because Backbeat has rolled back the years here, shown zest he hasn't shown for quite a while, and comes home to make the long journey worthwhile. The Sandown winner for Dennis O'Regan. Backbeat beats Eric's Charm. Principe Azuro was third. In fourth place then was Florida Dream. Chief Yeoman, who briefly flattered 3 out. Aztec Warrior ran through beaten horses that included Crystal Danae, Brooklyn Breeze, All Night Now, my lad, limited edition, didn't get home, then done Brody Miller. Well, the writing was on the wall from quite a long way out, to be honest, despite his big price. He really jumped well. Jumping wins races here at Sandown, and Backbeat's given Dennis O'Regan a really good ride.
Superb jumping there by Backbeat, 33 to 1, 28 and 25 this morning, and as Richard Hoyles gave you in running, returned the 28 to 1 complete outsider of the 11 runners. It did touch 33 to 1 here on the course. Beats Eric Charm, the 9 to 2 second favourite, with Principe Azuro third, the 4 to 1 favourite. A colossal result for the layers, and female on the exchanges must have been a great result for those who are laying all the front ones.
Certainly was. They deserved a bit of a respite, and the biggest price laid back in running was 50 to 4 to 1 Betfair, with thanks to Tom, who'll be appearing next week from Warwick. Backbeat, though, a big outsider, and as I've said, respite for those layers who suffered so badly with Breedsbury's earlier on in the afternoon.
And wins by 6 lengths and 3.5.
Back here at Wincanton, the presentation now by Ian Gosson of High Goss Insurance Services to a jubilant Simon Clark, his first ever winner, Necarah, winning the High Goss Insurance Services Handicap Chase. There, get all the Clarks in, and why not? Lovely horse, remember the name Necarah. By the way, Paul Nicholls, as you know, had 3 winners at Sandown today. I talked to him here, and I was asking him about that 5 Dream. Would he go for the Triumph? He said probably not. He thinks he's more of an Imperial Cup horse. That's the news here at Wincanton. Back to Sandown.
Where, as you can tell, there's not that many punters collecting from the last. The stream is becoming a flood of racegoers heading towards the station, and they'll all sit and wonder how on earth Backbeat could win so convincingly and not figure part of their calculation. Certainly wouldn't have been mine. The last 2 races, well, you say they go the way of the bookmakers, but of course 5 Dream completed a treble on the afternoon for Messrs Walsh and Nicholls, Masterminded and Breeze winning the feature race, also providing winners for them. Squadron for the Alan King Yard, and Chumbawamba, before Mick Fitzgerald's came down to earth with a bump on a couple of occasions, landed the spoils in the opener.
So that's what's happened, what's coming up today. Kempton this evening on Racing UK, that's satellite channel 432 and cable 536. Tomorrow, Cannes-sur-Mer. Monday, Ludlow. Tuesday, the flat review of 2007. Wednesday, we're Musselburgh, Kempton. Thursday, Catterick. Friday, Huntingdon and Kempton in the evening. And then on Saturday, Warwick, Wetherby and Kempton. Top class action.
Well, Dennis, that was some performance. We certainly didn't see it coming, did you?
No. I tell you, I knew after jumping the first or second fence that he was going to run really well. He was really enjoying himself and taking me there all the time.
Has he had a lot of problems?
I think he's probably had a few problems, but in fairness to Howard, he had him spot on today, you know what I mean? And he jumped fantastic today. Took lengths out of everything, so...
He did, and you went some clip, and he's a lovely big stamp of a horse.
Yeah, he's a fine horse. He's a fine horse. He's probably had his problems, but today he was spot on. He mightn't like water jumps, but hey, he jumped the rest of them okay.
He did indeed. A good way to finish the afternoon.
Brilliant, superb, delighted. Thanks very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just endorse everything Dennis has said, and top marks to Howard Johnson, because this horse has had jumping problems in the past as well. He used to go markedly right. This, of course, was right-handed, but it was a lovely performance. Well done to all concerned. Dennis O'Regan, who's made a big impression since coming over from Ireland. He's a fine horseman. He gets horses jumping. If you don't jump, you can't win, with the big fences particularly, and that's his particular skill. So, Scoop 6, halfway, it looked like we might have a whole shoal of winners, but then the last 2 kicked in, and sadly we didn't have a winner this afternoon, so the rollover fund, the win £278,699 and the bonus fund of £174,378.
And this is where that rollover will go with the forthcoming action here on Channel 4. Next Saturday, it'll be Warwick, their most valuable race of the season and card of the season, the totesport.com Classic Chase. A real slog there over 3 mile 5. And the Lanzarote Hurdle, one of the big handicaps, of course, of the year, just down the road at Kempton Park. A week later, we've got 3 venues, Wincanton, also action from Lingfield Park and Haydock Park. And then, of course, it's Festival Trials Day at Cheltenham, featuring the Leatherby and Christopher Chase, where Exotic Dancer has been confirmed as a possible runner. Inglesdrever as well in the Cleve Hurdle. So a few horses putting their Cheltenham aspirations on the line. And, of course, the Sky Bet Chase is reunited with Doncaster after a couple of years at Suttle. That's all the action coming up on 4.
Certainly plenty of it, Richard, that's for sure. And Tom was mentioning about Paul Nicholls' plans with 5 Dream. We can almost see him running in a Triumph Hurdle trial at Haydock, where the ground, you know, should be soft. The Victor Ludoran might just be something en route to the Imperial Cup. We've seen some nice horses today, haven't we?
Well, we have indeed. It was really nice then to talk to Dennis O'Regan. Ruby Walsh had actually gone to get a plane, otherwise he could have made it 4 from 4, I suppose. But
Yeah.
Great afternoon, and yeah, good Cheltenham pointers. And considering we were worried about the ground and everything else, no problem.
Great stuff. Well, it's been a fantastic day for Nicholls and Ruby. Paul Nicholls, Ruby Walsh, of course, and in the big race today, Breed's Breeze blew them away in the Tollworth.
Towards the last, they're very tired horses. Deep Purple in second place, then back in third is Calgary Bay. This is the last of Breed's Breeze is over. About 2 to 3 lengths clear. Deep Purple in second place. Breed's Breeze just getting a little lonely out in front. Deep Purple really knuckling down, trying to close, but the front 2 rather set it up for Breed's Breeze. Proven Stamina will win the day. Jim Lewis, Breed's Breeze, Tallworth Hurdle success by 2 lengths.
Dubai Holding, proud to sponsor Channel 4 Racing.